Annihilation. I gotta do a spoiler review. I'm gonna do it on YouTube because it's so much easier than writing on Instagram. Go look up my Instagram spoiler-free review at King Reviewer 666 King_reviewer. So that movie, I didn't like it, not one bit. I'm gonna share what I liked, but I have so many things that I did not like. So what I liked, I thought the score, much like Ex Machina, was phenomenal. If anyone doesn't know, Ex Machina was made by Alex Garland as well. Ex Machina is a masterpiece of a sci-fi movie. The score was great. I love the score. I thought the score was unique. It was intimidating. It was a very sci-fi score. Now, what else I liked, I thought at the end, there was two CGI. This is spoilers. The blob thing she's looking into, that floating, levitating ball of energy that she's looking into at the end, the CGI for that was phenomenal. And I thought the CGI of the Morph Man, freaking Play-Doh Man, was really good. You could tell it's obviously a person in a suit, but there's some CGI thrown in there and it blends so well you can't even tell. Now for what, and I think the movie's ambitious. I like that Alex Garland is exploring these crazy ideas. I like that he has the balls to make a fever dream of a book, he said, but it's incredibly unique. Now that being said, I'm going to go into my dislikes, which is a long list. 1. Natalie Portman is there for the most cliche, convenient reason. It's not like Arrival, where they pick up a linguistics person because that's the type of person they need. Her husband happens to be in the type of field that would put him in the situation where he goes into the shimmer, and he happens to possess the necessary knowledge and skills and background to help them out in this thing. She happens to study cells for a living and be a professor in biology and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so it's not that they chose you, it's that your husband went into this place and conveniently you possess, because if you worked at Subway, you would not be in the shimmer. That being said, it's not like any of the scientists going to shimmer are smart enough to be in the shimmer. So 2, 1, the title, I think the shimmer is a stupid title for a thing. I don't know what I'd call it, but the shimmer sounds like a power that Shocker has from Spider-Man. Alright, 2, so there, Natalie Portman's existence, why she exists in this situation. 2, they have a conversation at a table. After she finds out what's going on, she has hardly any shock at all what she's looking at. Just like that stupid kid from the Miss Peregrine movie who looks at all these phenomenal beings and he has no shock or surprise. She sits at a table and meets her fellow scientists, all female cast, which is all fine and dandy. This is one of my most anticipated movies of last year. So the all female casting doesn't bug me. It bugged me with Ghostbusters. It didn't bug me here. It didn't feel like it was some forced thing, really. It looked conveniently funny. It looked very Hollywoodized. It's like, oh, of the 5 females, one's old, but all you are young and attractive. None of you are old. It looks so Hollywood. You conveniently have, we got to get the one Mexican/Asian person in this, so we got that crowd out of the way. Maybe she's bisexual. We got the one black out of the way. Very token looking. You can never have a whole class where it's like 4 black and 2 white. Or 3 Mexican and 3... You always have to have like 1 for each. Anyways, they sit at a table and they discuss how it's a suicide mission. They start talking like it's a joke. We're like, oh, we heard it's a suicide mission because other teams already went there, military mostly. But haha, we're going to go in anyways. So that cuts through the entire movie where they're panicking to get out of there. And I'm just like, didn't you acknowledge that it's a suicide mission? A suicide mission means you die. You're literally joyously going to your death. And then you're like in shock. Especially when she ties the people up in the movie. You lied to us. Lied to you about what? She didn't lie to you about anything. They said you're going on a suicide mission. Nobody has come back. You already knew that. So what did she lie to you about? You went in there. You're not going to come back. You're all going to die. She didn't lie to you at all. 2. Or 3. I don't even know what number I'm on. Everyone says the CGI is phenomenal. I like 2 things of CGI. I don't know if it was my movie screen and my movie screen just happened to be blurry or something, but that CGI was so low contrast that it looked like a low resolution Star Wars prequels background. Everything looked really faded, really light. There was hardly any depth to anything. I don't know if that might have been my screen. Maybe my eyes are going blind. But I didn't think the CGI looked that phenomenal. I really didn't. Another thing. All these scientists go into this scientific phenomenon that's going on. This energy field, people aren't coming back. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. They have already some knowledge of what's going on. But it's obviously something that they've never experienced before. They find a video camera in the first 2 minutes of them in there. They look at Oscar Isaac cutting someone open and his insides are moving. This scientist says that is a trick of the light. It's what were they editing? They filmed them cutting this guy open and they decided to edit some visual effects into their own video that they happen to leave behind. What do you mean it's a trick of the light? What is a trick of the light? It doesn't even make any sense. You're a scientist. You're in a scientific phenomenon. Why are you unaccepting of the things you're seeing? You're literally going to something that you've already never seen before. This giant energy wave covering a forest. In the center of it's a lighthouse. What part of this is a part of the scientific laws that already exist in the world? You should go in ready for new things. So you're already unaccepting of everything. You see something else that looked really cool. It looked like something from Dead Space. The video game, if anyone knows that video. One of the best video, one of my favorite video games, top 3. BioShock, Dead Space, Mass Effect 2. So that was very cool. They're denying everything they see. Natalie Portman's walking around saying, oh, these flowers, they're crossbreeds. But that's impossible. Imagine this in a human. They see a crossbreed alligator that attacks them. It's like a crossbreed between an alligator and a shark. She's like, but this is impossible. I'm just thinking girl, you're looking at it. It's possible. You're looking at it. You're touching it. You keep saying it's impossible. You could say, I don't know how this could happen, but you keep saying the words, it's impossible. You're looking at it. It's possible. Anyways, there's a point where one of their teammates go missing. This character had a boat ride of dialogue that lasted 20 seconds, and it was all about Natalie Portman. And they find her bloody boot. Instead of going with Natalie to find the bloody boot, she's like, I'll go alone. For no reason, into this dangerous world. Walks out. They have no idea when she's going to get back or if she can even find her way back. She finds a dead person, comes back. One girl's sleeping. And they're like, oh, one of our own died. Who cares? None of them care. They continue in this movie. Oh, this movie stressed me out. They continue to find more things. They find... Oh, before I go to that, they keep cutting back to her. They cut back to a scene where she's having an affair. They keep cutting to her spine. Like, you're looking at her back. This is the unsexiest sex scene ever. You're just watching her spine contort while she's riding some black guy. And they don't explain why this is relevant to the plot. And it isn't. It literally happens. It ends. It has no bearing on the plot whatsoever. No impact. I'm like, okay. She cheated on her husband? That has nothing. Because this movie isn't about her relationship with her husband. They giggle, blah, blah, blah. But if you cut to another scene where her and her husband had got into a fight over the cheating, I guess that could have had some impact in the story. But it doesn't because he's comatose. And you're not fighting to save your marriage. You're fighting to save his life. And it felt so out of place. And he even had one part where they cut back to her and her husband on the couch. And they both look at each other and say, hey. That's the last thing they cut back to with their relationship. Anyways. So they go to a field. Some grass in this movie is CGI, some isn't. I don't understand why. There's very fake grass. They see these people, these plants that are built up like people. She explains, because she's Miss Exposition, who can never say, when she goes back to the interrogation, she's an idiot. She's dumbfounded. She doesn't know anything. Her answer to everything is, I don't know. But here she's Miss Exposition saying, oh, she's spewing exposition. Tessa Thompson's spewing exposition about how this is possible. They keep saying that's impossible. I'm like, Tessa Thompson literally cinema censor. She says, no, it's possible. You're looking at it. They go into her house. Then you get to finally a good scene in the movie. It starts with something that makes no sense. She ties him up. She has Natalie Portman's pocket watch thing with her husband's face in it. She starts crying. Who is this? Is he your husband? You lied to us. And everything she says makes no sense there. They didn't lie to you about nothing. Why do you care if that's her husband? How is she gonna answer your questions if you have her mouth tied up? You keep asking her questions, she can't answer you. You bound and gagged her. She cannot answer you. Anyways, they have a scene. This scene's amazing. This scene's like a horror movie. This movie should have been a horror movie rather than whatever the heck it was. A bear mutant thing out of Dead Space walks in there and it opens his mouth and you hear the screams of this woman whose throat it ate. It was that character that none of them care about. That was scary. That whole scene was scary. It didn't make any sense if the bear is blind while it's walking around them, as if it knows they're there and just wants to go around them. But that scene was scary. And when it opened its mouth and put her shoulder in it, that was crazy. When it killed the woman, that whole scene was scary. That was a very scary scene. The movie continues. And I'm just going to cut to the end. It's nonsense. Tessa Thompson walks out into the grass. She vanishes for some reason. I don't know if it's implying that she turned into one of those plant things, because those plant things, as you established earlier, are not people. They're plants that had some element of human gene in them, because the DNA refracts in the shimmer that they turn into the shape of people. So if you turned into one of these people, that doesn't make any sense, because you would look different. And then Natalie Portman would be able to discern which one you are from the rest of them. She walks on the beach. The beach is really cool. The trees are made of crystal. She sees the lighthouse. The lighthouse, when I first saw it in the beginning, it looked so fake. But there, I was like, the lighthouse looks good. She gets in there. She goes in a hole. She has a very cool scene with a CGI blob that is literally dropping Skrillex beats. She looks into it. Some freaking guy straight out of Tron or the Lawnmower Man steps out. It molds into her. They have a cool scene with that. That lasts way too long. If that scene was 5 minutes, it would be cool. It lasted like 15 minutes of this blob thing imitating her. And I was like, geez, get on with something. Do something. Choke slammer. Power bomber. Backhander. Headbutter. Something. I was losing my mind. I was like, eat her. Freaking eat her. Have sex with her. Anyway, so Natalie Portman looking like a freaking G.I. Joe. And this blob thing have a charades game for 15 minutes. It started out cool. And it just bored me after a while. It turns into her. She hands it like a pyro grenade thing. It bursts into flames, burns everything down. All right. She exits. If that thing was somehow the center of all the alien life and DNA spliced things inside the shimmer, why didn't it kill Natalie Portman's husband? If he, as you find in the end, is not himself, but he is one of the creations of the things within the shimmer, why did he not burn into the ground, burst into flames? Now, if you tell me it's because he's outside of the shimmer, well, Natalie Portman, when they zoom into her eyes to give you some hint that maybe she's a replicant, she's another creation of this thing, why didn't she burn alive when the thing burnt everything to the ground? So she clearly is an alien. I don't know what the point of zooming in her eyes is. And my last biggest complaint, besides dialogue and the constantly, they ruined the ending of the movie for you. It keeps cutting back to Natalie Portman where she literally spoils the movie in front of your face. She, a scientist, they ask her, what did the alien look like? She says, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? It looked like you. It literally looked like, how can you not describe yourself? Literally, I would be like, this thing looked like a multicolored morph man. It looked like, people who wear a morph suit? It looked like a multicolored morph suit. Give me Play-Doh. I will show you what it looked like. Give me a sketch pad. It is literally the form of a human being without any details. And it's colored greenish and blues. He's a scientist. How can you not describe something? You have to describe what cells look like. How can you not describe what this looks like? You're teaching your class what cancer cells look like early in the movie. How can you not describe this thing? It's very simple what it looked like. And like, what do you want? I don't know. I understand. You could have took a guess. It wanted to splice all the DNA within itself, wanted to change all of the planet. I don't even know. But the fact that he keeps saying, I don't know, drives me crazy. What does it look like? I don't know. It looked like you, fool. Anyways, then they had this stupid ending where they're trying to hint something. This movie insists to you that it's intelligent and it isn't, and it's being touted as a masterpiece, and I'm just like, what? Ex Machina, yes. This movie, he said it's like a dream of a book. That's what it felt like. It literally felt like I'm watching a dream, and nothing in dreams make any sense. And that's what I was watching. I was watching a dream. I was like, yeah, this made about as much sense as a dream does. It's a cool concept. It has a good score. I watch a blob beatbox. Natalie Portman's decent. They all look like... Oh, another thing. If they're scientists and they know other teams, this military teams, have gone in here and never come back, why don't they grab some dang hazmat suits? Why are you going into this thing without hazmat suits? Why are you not going with any armor at all? You're like, oh, if the military teams failed, we're going to grab guns and military stuff. It failed. Do something different. Oh, we tried to get there by boat. All right. Did you try to get there by a helicopter? This thing is not a force field. You walk through it. Fly a helicopter to the lighthouse. Duh. Stupid. Go in there with a tank. Why are you walking there with guns like the military crew that already died in there? I don't get it. It's the antithesis, the logic. It's like, let's do what we've already done and expect different results. Insanity. That's what Albert Einstein said. Doing the same thing and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Which it isn't, but these people are dumb. They're dumb. Anyways, that's my spoiler rant to this movie. I didn't like it at all. I give it an F.